The world is a strange and unsettling place. Shadows hold secrets. Whispers linger in the dark, and sometimes the line between reality and nightmare blurs. Are you ready to face the unknown? Tonight we journey into the heart of darkness. We explore real-life horror stories that will chill you to the bone, tales of curses, ghosts and royal mysteries, stories whispered in hushed tones. Stories that will make you question everything you thought you knew. These are not tales for the faint of heart. They are stories of tragedy, loss, and the unsettling presence of the supernatural. So gather close, turn off the lights, and prepare yourself. The journey begins now. Our first story takes us to Pakistan, a small town bound by tradition where whispers travel like wildfire. It is a tale of love, betrayal, and a curse that echoes through generations. Inaya, a young woman haunted by her family's past, shares their story. Her father years ago was bound to marry, an arranged marriage. He was to wed a woman he barely knew, but something troubled him, a sense of unease, a feeling deep in his gut. He couldn't shake it. He loved his family, he respected tradition, but he could not go through with the marriage. He broke the engagement. The town was scandalized, his family furious. But none felt the sting of rejection more keenly than his would-be bride. She was heartbroken, humiliated, consumed by a rage that festered within her. Whispers began to circulate, dark rumors about the scorned woman. She was seen visiting the local mystic, a practitioner of dark arts feared by all. The townsfolk whispered of a curse. One day, she confronted Inaya's father. She stood before him, eyes blazing with fury, and pronounced her revenge. "You will regret this," she hissed, her voice a venomous whisper. "Your family will suffer. Your eldest son, he will never see adulthood." Her words hung in the air, heavy with malice, a chilling prophecy. Inaya's father tried to forget, to move on. He married another, a woman he loved. They had children. He poured all his love and protection onto his eldest son, desperate to defy the curse. Years passed. The memory of the curse faded. It became a ghost story, a cautionary tale whispered to children. Inaya's father found peace. He believed the curse was nothing but empty threats. Then came his son's 18th birthday, a day of celebration, of joy, of hope for the future. That night his son went out with friends. Laughter filled the car as they drove away. Hours later the phone rang, a call that chilled Inaya's father to the bone. His son's car had been found, wrecked, empty. He was gone, vanished without a trace, just as she had foretold. The curse, fulfilled to the very day. It was a cruel twist of fate, a parent's worst nightmare, and it had all come true. The town was in shock. The whispers returned, darker this time, laced with fear and sorrow. Inaya's family was shattered. The curse had claimed its victim. Some say the scorned woman disappeared, vanished into thin air, her vengeance complete. Others believe she still wanders the town, a spectre, forever bound to the curse she unleashed. To this day, Inaya's family lives with the weight of the curse, a constant reminder of the darkness that can lurk beneath the surface. They are forever haunted by the chilling truth. Some wounds, some curses never truly heal. Our next tale takes us back in time, to the year 1483, to England, to the Tower of London, a place steeped in history and shrouded in darkness. Imagine being young, royal, and utterly alone. This is the story of Edward and Richard, the princes in the tower. Two boys trapped in a web of power and betrayal. Their father, King Edward IV, dies suddenly. Young Edward, the elder brother, is next in line for the throne, but his uncle Richard, Duke of Gloucester, has other plans. He craves power, he desires the crown. And so the two princes are sent to the Tower of London. For their protection, it is said. But the Tower is a place of shadows, a place of whispers, a prison disguised as a palace. Richard, Duke of Gloucester, wastes no time. He declares himself Lord Protector. He isolates the boys, keeping them from their allies. He fills the tower with his own men, loyal only to him. Whispers turn to rumours. Rumours turn to fear. The people of England begin to suspect the worst. What has become of their young princes? Where are the rightful heirs to the throne? Inside the tower, the boys are prisoners. They play games to pass the time. They tell each other stories to keep the darkness at bay. But they cannot escape the truth. Their uncle is no protector. He is a threat. Days turn into weeks. The whispers grow louder. Richard, Duke of Gloucester, takes a bold step. He declares the princes illegitimate. He claims the throne for himself. He is crowned King Richard III. Section 3. The Tower of Secrets. The people of England are outraged, but they are powerless to act. King Richard III is ruthless. He will silence anyone who dares to challenge him, and still the question remains, what happened to the princes? Some say they were murdered in their sleep, smothered with pillows, their bodies buried within the tower walls. Others claim they were spirited away, smuggled out of the tower to live in hiding. But the truth remains elusive, lost to history. The Tower of London holds its secrets close. It has witnessed countless acts of cruelty, countless tragedies. The princes in the tower are just two souls among many, swallowed by the darkness. Years pass. King Richard III's reign of terror continues, but the memory of the princes lingers. They become symbols of innocence lost, of justice denied. Their fate, a chilling reminder of the darkness that can consume even the most powerful. Section 4. Forever Young, Forever Lost. Centuries later, the Tower of London remains a place of pilgrimage. Tourists flock to see the crown jewels, to walk the ancient walls, to feel the weight of history. But some visitors report something more, a chill down their spine, a feeling of being watched. A glimpse of two young boys walking hand in hand, their faces pale, their eyes filled with sadness. Are they merely figments of imagination? Or are they the ghosts of the princes in the tower, forever bound to the place of their imprisonment, forever searching for justice, forever young, forever lost? Their story is a haunting reminder that some mysteries are never solved, some wounds never heal, and sometimes the past refuses to stay buried. Section 1. Graveyard Shift. Our final story takes place in the dead of night, the world asleep, oblivious to the shadows that stir. This is the realm of paramedics. First responders, those who answer the call when darkness falls. Zerbo, a seasoned EMT, knows the night shift well. He's seen his share of tragedy, heard the whispers of fear in the back of the ambulance, but nothing could prepare him for what he encountered that night. 3 a.m., the witching hour. Zerbo and his partner, rookies both, were stationed in a rural area. Long stretches of silence punctuated by the crackle of the radio. They were exhausted, fighting to stay awake. The ambulance, Rig 12, was their sanctuary, a rolling haven in the darkness. They had no idea it harbored a secret, a presence that whispered from beyond the veil. Zerbo jolted awake, a sound, a voice, close by. "Am I dying?" The words, barely audible, sent shivers down his spine. His heart pounded in his chest. He looked at his partner, but he was sound asleep. "Did you hear that?" Zerbo whispered, his voice tight with tension. His partner stirred, groggy. "Hear what?" he mumbled. Before Zerbo could answer, they both heard it, a distinct hissing sound, like gas escaping. Coming from the back of the ambulance, panic surged through Zerbo. He fumbled for the light switch. The fluorescent bulbs flickered to life, illuminating the empty space. There was no one there. But the hissing continued. They both stared at the oxygen tanks, their eyes wide with terror. Zerbo, his training kicking in, checked the tanks. Everything was in order. No leaks, no malfunctions. Yet the hissing persisted, and the voice, that soft, haunting whisper, "Am I dying?" Word spread quickly through the ranks. Rig 12 was haunted. Some dismissed it as a prank. Others, veterans with years under their belts, knew better. They had seen things, heard things. The line between the living and the dead was thin, especially at 3 a.m. The story of Rig 12 unraveled. Months earlier, a patient had died in the back of that very ambulance. A man, his life slipping away, had uttered those same chilling words with his final breath. "Am I dying?" Now it seemed he was trapped, bound to the place of his passing, doomed to repeat those final desperate words, seeking solace, or perhaps an answer to a question no one living could provide. Zerbo and his partner were never the same. They requested a transfer, anything to avoid another encounter with Rig 12 and its ghostly passenger. But Rig 12 remained in service, answering calls, carrying the living and, it seemed, the dead. A chilling reminder that some questions linger even after the final breath, that some stories don't end, they merely echo through time. And so the next time you hear a siren in the night, remember Rig 12. Remember the EMTs who face the unknown, the unseen, and remember the question that haunts the darkness. Am I dying? A question whispered not with malice, but with a profound and unsettling sadness. Three stories, three glimpses into a world that exists just beyond our reach. A world where curses linger, ghosts whisper, and the past refuses to stay buried. Are these stories mere coincidence? Tricks of the light? Or is there something more at play? We live in a rational world, a world of science and logic. We seek explanations, we crave evidence. But what about the things we cannot explain? The shadows that move in the corner of our eye, the whispers we hear when no one is around. These stories challenge us to confront the unknown, to acknowledge that there may be forces at work beyond our understanding, forces that defy logic and reason, forces that send shivers down our spines and make us question the very nature of reality. The line between reality and the supernatural is a thin one. Our minds, hardwired to seek patterns and meaning, can easily blur the lines. We see faces in the clouds, we hear voices in the wind, we create stories to explain the unexplainable. But what if, just what if, there's more to those stories than we realize? What if the things that go bump in the night are more than just our imaginations running wild? What if the veil between our world and the next is not as impenetrable as we believe? These stories tap into our deepest fears. The fear of the unknown, the fear of what lies beyond our control. The fear that death may not be the end, but merely a transition to something else, something we cannot comprehend. As we turn on the lights, close our eyes and try to forget the chills running down our spines, we are left with a lingering sense of unease. The world outside our windows seems a little darker, the shadows a little deeper, the silence a little too quiet. The stories we've explored tonight are not easily dismissed. They stay with us, echoing in our minds long after we've turned off the screen. They remind us that the world is a strange and mysterious place, and that sometimes the most terrifying monsters are not the ones we create in our minds. So as you drift off to sleep tonight, remember the curse of the eldest son, the whispers in the Tower of London, the chilling question in the back of Rig 12. And remember, some things go bump in the night, and sometimes they whisper back. Sleep tight if you dare.